Hello, welcome back. The last video I did, I showed off a bunch of Furbies that I had bought. Some had different issues, such as not working or covered in dirt, and I basically got them for quite a good deal with the hopes that we could clean them up together and basically see how we do. Some of them I might be able to fully fix, some I might not be able to, but yeah, I thought I'd start with this one because I don't have it. I believe it's a Kiwi. I really like the colour, I really like the green colour. And he seems in not awful condition. I'm hoping I can just clean up some of these marks, see if he's working. I have already opened the battery compartment because I noticed when I picked him up that he was a little bit weighty, and I thought he probably had batteries in, and he did. So I was a bit worried they would be leaked all over. I took them out carefully and I was lucky because they haven't leaked, and this battery compartment seems in pretty much perfect condition. I can't see any corrosion anyway or rust or anything, so I think we're okay in that sense. We'll put some batteries in. If he works, then it'll just be taking them apart, cleaning them up and putting them back together again. If he isn't working, then we'll have to figure out why. So let's put some batteries in and see how he goes. I can't remember from the post whether this was one that was meant to be working or not. So as you can see, he has the sleep bug, which a lot of Furbies have. There can be different reasons for this. Sometimes it's just that the sensor on the front isn't clean, or there's a problem with the tilt sensor, or something else completely. Some people just reset it by holding the button down and holding the tongue down, hold them upside down and wait a bit. And sometimes that fixes it. As you can see, that did not work, so I will take it apart, clean the fur, and if we can fix up that sleep bug, that's great. If not, I'm not too worried. We'll just see how it goes. I'm fine with having a Furby with the sleep bug, because you can basically bypass it by just holding the tongue down when you turn it on, and it'll just work like normal. That's it really. I don't find it as a big deal. It's just kind of one of the issues you run into having old tech like this. Sometimes you have problems. So I think the first thing I'm gonna do is skin him. He isn't awful, he's grotty, and ideally it'd be better cleaned up a bit. The stitching on here looks like someone might have already opened him, but I'm not sure. Looks a little different to the other ones. That just could be the model. As I've said before, like, different Furby models are made in like different factories at different times, and so you can have a Furby with literally the same like colorway and everything be a different model, and it basically means like the internals could be completely different, and you might have to do something different when opening it up. They might have screws in different places. They might not have hot glue in other places where others do, and even like some of the wires might be held together slightly differently. It's all a little bit different. But yeah, so far I have just taken out the stitching with my little tool here. I will put a list of tools in the comments just so you can, in the description, so you can see what you need. But I just pulled the stitches, and basically I pull the zip tie to the side down here, like so. Make sure the batteries are out, by the way. And cut the zip tie carefully so you're not cutting the fabric. And then just pull the zip tie out, and you can throw that one away because you won't be able to reuse it because they're not reusable zip ties. And the next step is taking the same tool and basically pulling the little bit of fabric off the ear. If you're worried about catching the ear itself, you can always pull the ear up like this, and if you very gently try not to break anything, you can see the way it's held on, and this way you can cut it without having to push it into the fabric too much. There you go. That's one off. I take the fabric out. Quite hard getting the string out of this one. It seems like they've put a lot through. I don't know if that's because someone's redone this already, but usually it's just one easy, just one or two that you just need to run through and it's done. But this one has quite a lot of fabric, a lot of string in here, so it's quite a pain to get out. Unusual. Yeah, this is, I don't know if I've said, but I have already done a good number of like Furby restorations, mostly for myself. I put a couple up on my eBay, but majority of Furbies I've done so far I've kept. I just did them either fixing my own childhood ones, and then I just bought ones that I liked the look of and that were broken just to see if I could do it, see if I could fix them. So I have done quite a few, and this is the first time I've had the ears with this like much string going through it, which again makes me think maybe someone's already kind of took this apart and had a go at fixing it up. I didn't notice when I turned it on that the sound quality was a bit weird, and I was like, maybe that's just because it's old, but it could be because a lot of people, when they swap the mics out, they swap them with these like ones for headphones, and I do notice that they often are quite tinny, like they just sound a little off. So let's see. I'm just gonna cut the fabric close to the ear, just to get the long bit off. I don't want to cut that knot because it looks like it's in there. Maybe it'll come out when I wash the fur or something, but yeah, that wasn't hard. Yeah, like now I'm looking at the ear here, you can see there's like a little bit of a hole. To me, this looks like someone came in and already attempted to take the ear out, the fabric out the ear, and they cut the ear by accident. which makes sense now why it's been harder to get the ears off. There's always something new when I'm doing these. You always think, oh, it'll be a straightforward one, this, and then it's super not. What I'm quite interested to see is what microphone they have. Microphone? Speaker. What speaker they have on, because I'm assuming that's what they did. They opened it up, changed their speaker, and then sold it. Because I have a new speaker, well, a few new speakers that I've ordered, and I want to see if they're any better than the others that I like often get used. They might be worse, they might be better, but I'm gonna maybe solder it on just to see if it sounds any better than the one that's in now. If it's the same or worse, then obviously I might keep the old one, we'll see. And yeah, you can see the hole there on the ear. So either someone already opened this or someone who owned it before kind of maybe ragged it around a bit by the ear. I'm assuming someone opened it just based on everything we've seen so far. Let's see what we've got. So it's got some screws. I prefer it when there's screws and not hot glue, because hot glue you end up having to yank stuff off more, and at least with screws, you know, when you put it back you can just put it back in the same spot pretty nicely. With hot glue it's a bit, I don't know, it just seems like damaging to the fur. So we'll pull that off, and we have got most of it off. Okay, so now we're at the bit that I don't really like that much, and it's because there is hot glue around the ear here. Pretty much, I think all of the models have hot glue around their ears, and because I've mentioned that I think someone's opened this before, I can see it's already, some of it's already up, it's just a little bit, so I might even be able to just pull it up with my fingers. Some of it's come up. Yeah, that's the good thing about someone redoing who's done this. They seem to have not put an excess amount of glue on, I don't think. So hopefully it'll come up okay. Oh, I can see where they've, so you can see here, they've like hot glued this bit, and there's like a bit of plastic here that's come off. It's stuck to the fur. So I assume that when they like yanked this off, they yanked this plastic tab here. That's not great. It makes it a little harder when I'm going to put it back together to make sure that the fur is in exactly the right spot, because that tab helps align it. But it's already off, so at least you don't have to worry too much. I'm just using the pliers to kind of go under and pull it up. There we go. Not too bad. I'm gonna gently pull it out. You can see a bit of fabric stuck. There we go. So someone may have, oh wow, okay. Oh yeah, someone's definitely been in here already, because this is broken here. That's not usually like that. Do I have an open? I have. Here's the Furby I have, but is fine. You can see on this one it goes all the way down to here. This one it doesn't. This is what it's meant to look like, because this bit presses in on the sensor, touch sensor for the back. This one, because it's got hot glue here and it's still kind of holding it in place and everything, it still works. So we just have to make sure when we put it back that maybe we add a bit of hot glue just to keep it in place. But yeah, definitely going towards my theory that someone's already opened this and maybe not done the best job they could have done, but you know, it could have been their first try or whatever. I'm gonna take the shell off because I could just wash the fur and put it back on, but because the microphone sounds a bit dodgy, I am kind of curious what they've done. It seems like they may have put a different mic on and it's just not a great one. So I'm gonna see if we have a better mic. We might not. It might be as bad as theirs is. See if they've done anything else in here as well. Quite curious now what they've done. I think it's quite interesting. I think this is a first for me because even though I've probably opened, I don't know, like 30 or so Furbies so far, this might be the first one where I can be quite certain that someone's already had a go at restoring it. I mean, obviously we don't know what condition it was in before they messed with it. Like, it could have been in awful. They might have salvaged the eyelashes, that this might have not had anything in it. You know, it could have been completely ruined. So they might have done a really good job. We don't know what it was like before. So the hot glue is kind of up on here as well. I need to take this one out. I might peel some of this off a little bit so that when I add my own, it's not going to block it all up. There you go, I've got some of the hot glue off anyway. Let's open this up and see. I mean, that's actually in there a little bit, so it might have a bit of hot glue in. Oh yeah, it's hot glued up here. So they've already done that once. Let's see. It's a little bit dirty, but it's not awful. I'm going to take some Q-tips and a little bit of white vinegar. I'm not going to get any of this on the circuit board, obviously. I want to try and just clean up any of the plastic, so like mark on the beak. Get some of the dirt and muck out in places. Be careful using it on the tongue because I think it might be painted because the vinegar might fetch off some of the paint. So just use it on places that are safe, like here. I'm just cleaning the mark off. It's coming off, just need to be patient. I don't want to scratch it up, so I'm just doing it gently. I think this might have been scratched so that the dirt is in the scratch a little bit, so I might have to use a little bit more force to get that out. What's this called? I have a toothpick with a little bit of cotton on. I'm just going to use it to try and get this like scratch, because it's not. I will also take this off, just in case this is why the sleep bug is happening, because if this is dirty, I've had one before where it was just that. It was like, just needed a bit of a clean. So let's just clean that up, see if that makes any difference. If it does, great. Saves having the bug. I might wipe that lightly as well. Just get any grime out. Check if there's anything in there. I'm using a dry Q-tip here because I don't want to get vinegar in the electronics. Just getting any dirt off. I'll pop that back in. As you can see, there's still a bit of dirt around. It's coming off on the eye, so it must be on the plastic rim here. So I'm just gonna clean that up in the eyeball. Oh yeah, I never actually checked the eye colour or thought about it. I think it's a blue-grey or just grey. Which is quite nice for me because I don't have that many grey-eyed Furbies. If I wanted, you could always change the eyes out with a different one. Okay, I'm using the clean side of the Q-tip, of the cotton bud, and just gonna put a little bit of Vaseline on the gears, just to replace what I wiped off when I was cleaning it up. When they run, they should spread it around, so it should be alright. Let's put some a little bit on here. Take the speaker off just to see if I put one of mine on, if it will sound any better, just because the quality is a little iffy. It seems like they hot glued this down after replacing it, so it might be hard to get off. So I'll see. Yeah, it's definitely being held down. Just trying to pull the hot glue off without scratching like the circuits or anything. Let's come off and seeing if I can wedge this a little under. Wiggle it. There we go. It actually looks a bit gross in there. I'm going to use a clean toothpick and a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. I'm just going to spray it on a little. And just see if I can clean that out, because it looks like there's dirt. It could just be like solder or soldering stuff on there or something like that, but I don't want it rusting or anything. Take the screws off. So this is the speaker. It looks like someone took it out, I think. If I have one of the old speakers around, I'll try and compare it. So here's one I have from that's definitely off of Furby. It looks very similar, so it could be the original Furby one. It's also got a little bit of melted stuff there, which they often do. Yeah, it could be the same, but it doesn't sound great, so I'm going to replace it and see if it sounds any better. If it doesn't, then it doesn't, but... Just gonna see if I can get the melted bit separated. Yeah, there we go. I think it was the melted bit that was trying to make it a little more difficult to get out. Come on. Get that there. There we go. Fucking. That was very adhered. These are the new ones I got. I'm gonna see if these are any better. They might be worse. So I'm just gonna get my soldering set up here. This is an interesting one because you see here it's got an orange and an orange. On other Furbies, it's usually orange and brown. So if I was to take a picture of before and after, it's not really going to help here because both of them are the same. What I might do is put a little bit of Sharpie on the right one, just so I don't mix them up. Can I use a biro? I might use a biro. Very working. There you go, that worked. I just put a little bit of biro on the right one. Like so. And just gonna take my soldering iron and touch it to these so we can pull these off. Like that. So that is the easier part. The harder part for me is always getting it back on. I just put a little bit of the flux on the ones that I want to attach it to. Oop. I'm gonna tin my soldering iron. And I'm going to do the right one first, which is the biro one. Basically melt the solder on here. Try, fail. Do not copy how I solder. I don't know how to do it properly. I think there's definitely a much better way to do it that is safer. So you should follow a video on soldering practices before copying what I'm doing exactly, because you should definitely not follow me for that. Once that is cooled, I'm gonna do the same on the other side. Basically hold the getting close to it. Let it cool once it's attached. You can see it's attached. I think I did an okay job, but I honestly am not great at soldering, so I wouldn't be sure. Now we're just gonna put it how it was before, which was this way. Like so. It fits pretty nice, fits better than some of my other ones. And I'm gonna let it cool for a moment. Okay, now I'm gonna just attach this back on. And we don't have to attach it here yet to test it, so I'm just gonna open it up and add the batteries, and hopefully it'll sound at least a little bit better. If it sounds worse or doesn't work, then these may not be the best speakers. Okay, I think that sounds a bit better actually. It's a bit louder. It's still tinny. I've found all of these are still a bit like, I don't know, do they just sound like headphone speakers? But yeah, I'll do a before and after. Jesus, I'll try and show the sound before and after, and then you can try and decide like which one you prefer. I'm quite happy with those. Yeah, like I said, the problem is with all the speaker replacements so far that I've tried, they've all sounded not exactly correct. Like they always sound a little bit wrong, whether it's just a little quiet or a little bit tinny. But this one's quite loud, which I like, and kind of a bit more similar to the other Furbies that I have, the original speakers. So I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to reattach the speaker where it was, which was in here. Like so. I don't think we need to hot glue this down like it was. A lot of them aren't, and they're fine. Just make sure when you're moving they're not going where they shouldn't be. And now I'm just gonna spend a little bit more time on this, see if we can get it off completely. And then the next stage will be washing the fur. Yeah, that's much better. There's no mark on there at all that I can see. All it needs is a tiny touch up and yeah, just cleaning the fur now. It's exciting because this one is quite a nice easy one. Well, I say easy, I mean I had to do a bit of soldering to make the speaker a little bit better, and there is some minor issues, but overall it was just a nice one to do. sometimes you get lucky and you get one that's fairly straightforward with just like minor things you need to work around, and then others you think, oh, it's gonna be easy, and then you find out it's got like dirt on the soldering or literally needs to be completely resoldered. And some of those just aren't like sometimes worth taking apart because you might break the whole thing in the end or make it worse. Quite happy with it. The next step is the fur. It should wash up okay. This is quite, it's not washed off too badly, so what I sometimes do if I don't want it to wear off, I just wrap a bit of masking tape around it. The masking tape will probably come off while I'm washing it, but it usually keeps it just a little bit protected for a little bit longer. I think the plastic tag is in here. Yeah, this is the plastic tag that the cardboard tag was on. It must have come loose. It's coming off with just a little bit of gentle prying. There we go. It's only pulled out a little bit of fur, nothing that was stitching or anything, so should be fine. Yeah. So I'm basically gonna go wash this. I'll bring a bucket of water over just so you can see the process, but normally I do it in a bucket over the sink just to catch water, but I'll show you how I do it. It should protect it a little bit for a while, just so it might not fade. I am also washing another one of my skins at the same time, if you get confused why there's two in here. But yeah, basically I put it in there, give it a rotate, and just kind of massage it in so that the detergent is getting in there, getting any like smells out and debris out. I have a brush just for this, which I sometimes use if I see any marks. I'll just rub it with the brush. But there really isn't that much marks on here of any sort. Try and see if there's any marks you might have missed. You can see the masking tape's coming off. I'm just pressing it on where I can. You can already see they're looking a lot cleaner. Even the fur looks a lot nicer in general, like the colour. And you can see this tag came off, so I'm going to be very gentle now and try not to wash that off too much. There we go. So I'm going to basically drain this water and then rinse these under the tap for a bit just to get the majority of the soap out. We've still got another step to do, so you don't have to get every little bit out, but get as much soap out as you can. This is the softener I'm using. Probably too much. So I added some of the softener, and then I'm going to put these guys in and kind of do the same again. I like massage it in a bit. Especially into places where it needs the extra softener, like maybe on the tummy again. And sometimes I'll leave them in there just for a little bit, just so the softener really gets in there. So I'll come back in a few minutes. So I left them to soak for a while and I brushed them again. And now I'm gonna go and rinse out as much soap as I can, get it out as much as possible, and I'll just hang them up to dry. So while I let the fur dry, I'm just gonna reassemble him. I've applied a generous amount of Vaseline to the gears just to help them. So when he turns on, it should spread. And I'm gonna put this back on. Sometimes I just put the screws that screw the fur back on just so I don't lose them. I just pop them back in the side. Just remember to take them out if you're doing this when you put the fur back on. There we go. So his eyes are looking a lot nicer. Should be good to put the fur on now, just wait for it to dry a bit. Now that the fur is dry, I'm just going to use this pet brush that I bought for this. I haven't used it on animals, it's just I've only used it for brushing the fur. And I'm just going to brush in this direction so it doesn't pull out the fibres of the fur, just to kind of help make it look a bit nicer. There is, what I noticed when I was washing, there was like a patch here, and I thought it was like dirt, but it's not. It's just the fluff has come out already a little bit here, so that's annoying, but it happens. Quite well brushed now. I'll finish it off later when we've put the fur on, but it's looking a bit better. I'm just gonna unscrew these again, I put them in there just so I wouldn't lose them. I'm just going to turn the fur inside out like this, and then hook this on here, place the face over, make sure it is all in the right spot, and then I'm going to screw the faceplate back on. And then I'm gonna put the ears in the holes gently. Don't want to break them, but they are a little bit flexible. Like so. Pull the fur over it. Fur nicely on there. Push that back in. I just noticed, but the bit of plastic that was on the other ear is also on this one. I do not know how I didn't notice, so I'm just gonna gently pull this one off as well. Yeah, that means that when they like pulled the fur off, when they took it off, they must have like just yanked it in the wrong place, and it just took away the plastic little clips that hold it in place. So when we put this fur on, I'm gonna have to be careful where I put hot glue, just making sure that it's really gonna hold it in the right spot, because yeah, without the clips it's a little bit more difficult to get it spot on. There is a bit of the clip left, so yeah, should be alright. I'm just going to hold it in place for a sec. There we go. Put some around the top and the side. So that's pretty okay. I think that's on there securely. I'm just going to make sure the ears are okay. Sometimes I just run this bobbler over it lightly. You got to be really careful if you do this because it could cut the fur, so I always hold it very flat. Honestly, you're probably better not using this sometimes, just because the more you do this, the more fur you're taking off, so sometimes you're better just leaving it bobbly. So if I do use it, I just use it very minimally, just to try and get any excess off that's like really just a bit like too bobbly. You can see the ears are a little bit better now, but like I say, that's an optional thing because you don't want to over bobble it and damage it. This ear's already been damaged by whoever took it apart before, so it's not too worrying for me. Now you want to get some thread. So a lot of the time the colour of the thread they've used is usually the colour of the back of the ear, but it's kind of up to you. Like if you use white, then obviously from the front you're not going to see the thread as much. So I might use white. So keep in mind where this top hole is, because sometimes it's in a different spot depending on the model of Furby. For me it's right in this arrow, so I'm going to feel for the arrow and then feel for the hole. Kind of put my fingernail in it, that's what I do. And then I try and put the needle through the hole. If it's worked when you do this, it should not come out. So you can see there, I missed the hole completely. It happens, like sometimes it takes me a few goes to try and get it. It can be difficult. Sometimes I use pins, but honestly it's about the same difficulty either way. There, if it's worked when you pull like this, then you can tell it's gone through the hole. So I don't pull all of the thread through, leave some on the other side. And then you want to do another way back through, but you want to make sure you're not going through the same hole. You want to go like on the other side of the arrow. But I also try and do it close in the fabric so you're not making a massive obvious like stitch. So I pull it through and then you can see it's definitely on there, so I'm just gonna tie this in a knot. Like that. Put it back on there, tighten it, and then I tie it again. And I'll do it one more time. And then I just cut it close-ish, but try not to cut the fabric. Like so. And you can't see it much from the back, and on the front it's white, you can't see it, so it's pretty good. I have the bag of zip ties that are similar to the ones that it comes with. And make sure you put it the right way around. Just pop it in. There we go. Make sure the zip tie is in this little hollow bit. And pull it. And then I cut it. And then you can try and cover it in the fabric a little bit, or you can leave it so you can access it later. I don't usually bother trying to cover it too much, especially if I'm keeping it for myself. If this is fraying, the little tag, I'll take a little bit of like watered down PVA and just apply it to the edges, and it just helps keep the tag not falling apart for a while. Makes it last a bit longer. But this one's not fraying, so I'm going to leave it for now. Yeah, he is looking a lot better. His nose is clean, his eyes are clean. He's looking almost perfect. The only thing that I don't like is the damage to his ear and the fur, but that's not something that we could easily fix without doing probably more damage to him. I'll show you what he's like with some batteries in. And so because he has a sleep bug, what you just need to do is put your finger in his mouth when you're putting batteries in or whatever, like so. And then when he turns on, you can see now that he doesn't go straight back to sleep because we held the mouth down. So yeah, he's working. There we go. So all of his sensors are working and everything. He's working as he should be. And yeah. I'll try and put a before and after for you and you can decide what you think. He wasn't too hard, he wasn't gross or anything. All he just needed was a little bit of clean, so he's quite a simple one. But I thought he'd be a cool one to start with because I've just not had this one yet.